Hey, welcome to Avian Games. This is Chris. It's just me again, doing another deck profile. We're doing Metalfoes today. Um, this is a super fun deck. I recently bought this in real life, but I've been playing it online for a little while. This is one of my probably like top 5 decks right now. I'm absolutely in love with this deck. It's super fun to play. Feels like it's very rewarding if you know how to play it and you play it right. So I definitely highly suggest it. We're just gonna hop right into it. I don't want to spend too much time. I always over-record these. This is my second time recording this already because the first attempt was too long. So let's just do it. We're running triple Gold Driver, triple Silvered, double Melcaster, and one Vanisher. These are your scale 1s of the deck. All the Metalfoes normal monsters, or basically all the Metalfoes minus Vanisher, in the main deck share the effect that when they're in the scales, you can pop a face-up card you control instead of Metalfoes spell or trap. It's really nice. They can't be ashed, and it's nice since they all have the same effect. It's a very consistent deck. You know what you're getting into almost always. The Vanish effect is a little different, where if it's in scale and a card you control is destroyed, you can recycle a Metalfoes card from grave, and then the effect in hand is that you can pop 2 cards you control to summon itself, and then if it's summoned by any Metalfoes card, including itself, you can target a monster your opponent controls or in the grave and banish it. Super nice. This does come up usually on your turn 1 board, hopefully. And then Melcaster is a little bit different, where if it's popped on field, you can add a Metalfoes Pendulum monster for an extra to hand, but you can't activate it or place it in Pendulum zones for the rest of the turn, except by card effect. But that really never comes up. That's why I have this one at 2. It is, in my opinion, worse than the others. Its monster effect is kind of useless, but it is a level 7, which is super important, and it does have good stats, so I can definitely justify playing 3. I have played 3 in the past and been totally fine with it, but with E-Telly and some of the other stuff in the deck, I felt that this was a good card to cut compared to some of the other Metalfoes. For the rest of them, we got triple Bismugear, triple Steelin, and triple Volflame. Bismugear has an effect where if it's popped during the end phase, you get to search a Metalfoes monster. You do have to activate this as soon as it's popped, so keep that in mind if you are playing this in real life. Steelin, Metalfoes, and then Volflame is super important. I definitely prioritize searching Volflames because he is a level 7, and that lets you go into the Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon if you're able to get 2 level 7s on field, which would be your Melcasters or any Volflames. So keep that in mind. It's also just a nice stat line, 24, 2000. So it's a great monster just to have on field in general. Those are all the Metalfoes right there. We're running 18 Metalfoes. So movement out of Metalfoes, double Rescue Cat. You could play this at 3 if you're not running Magician Souls. But 2 and then the 2 Emergency Teleport is a pretty good amount of extenders for the deck. So this is also your best normal summon of the deck, so I can definitely justify playing 3, but right now I have 2. Cleforts, this lets you go into Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity if you're able to get to the Scout. Triple Magician Souls and 1 Iris Sword Soul. Magician Souls is a +4 in this deck, so I definitely suggest playing it. It's also just a body on field, which is nice. But if you can't afford this, you can definitely just run some other extenders, maybe more rescue rabbits if you have them, or what have you. And then our Sword Soul is just better than Apprentice Illusion Magician. Don't play this card anymore. Just shell out the like $15 or whatever it is for a Sword Soul and accept it. For our spells, 1 Metalfoes Fusion, double Para Metalfoes Fusion, and 1 full Metalfoes Fusion. Some people run Para Metalfoes at 1. I prefer running it at 2 because it becomes like a priority when you're recycling your resources if you only have 1. And I find if you're running 2, you have a much more better time. If your turn 1 board gets like totally busted, you have a better time bringing yourself back if you're running 2. So I definitely suggest trying out 2. If you find that you don't need 2, that's totally fine. You can definitely cut it to 1. Most people play it at 1, but for me, I find 2 is more consistent. Triple Summoner's Art lets you search out your Cleafort package and lets you search out your Volflames, which is super important. If you don't want to play Summoner's Art, another good option is Painful Decision. It's also nice because it loads your graveyard up with the Metalfoes, which can matter for some of your for one of your fusion monsters. But this does search level 4 or lowers, and the other one searches level 5 or higher, so keep that in mind. It's also more targets for Painful Decision, so keep that in mind as well. Double Emergency Teleport just came off the ban list, or just came to semi on the ban list, so been trying this out. So far it's been good, but play as much as you want. Triple Super Poly. This deck has an amazing Super Poly target in Metalfoes Crimsonite. It just needs 2 monsters with 3,000 or less attack. So there's like barely any restriction on the monsters that you can make, or that you can use for material for this. So it's super good in this deck. Unfortunately, you do just kind of have to hard draw it, but when you do hard draw it, it is just absolutely busted. And then for traps, 1 Metalfoes counter and 1 Metalfoes combination. You do want counter face down on field for your turn 1 board. It is pretty important, and it does help out the strategy a lot. It just gives you access into your Vanisher, which is then a banish on summon. So super nice. And the combination just kind of helps you extend for game when it comes to that point. For the extra deck, 1 Crimsonite for the Super Poly, 1 Orichalc. This gives your monsters double piercing battle damage, and then if it's sent to grave, it pops a card on field, which is super nice. We're doing 1 pair of Metalfoes Azortless. This one doesn't come up as much as the others, but its scale effect is that when a card's destroyed, you get to pop a card, and then when you special summon it, you shuffle 2 pendulums from extra deck into deck, and then you get to pop a card. So it is nice. It does use a Metalfoes monster and a fusion monster, so it is a little bit tougher to summon. But usually this is kind of a win more card, I find. But it is nice to have in the deck. We're running double Mithrilium. This is your most important card in the extra deck. This is how you're recycling your resources. This bounces cards. It doesn't pop, so it is nice to be able to avoid some of those monsters that are immune to destruction. This avoids that. And then when it's sent from field to graveyard, you get to special summon a Metalfoes Pendulum monster from your extra deck or grave. This is important because you can end your turn 1 board with an IP in this to make a unicorn. And if you do end up doing that, you can end up bouncing a card with the unicorn and then banishing a card with your Vanisher, which is super nice. And your last card is Alcahest, or your last Metalfoes Fusion, rather, is Alcahest. This is what I like to end my turn 1 boards on. It's basically a quick effect. You get to suck up a monster, and it gains defense equal to the attack. So yeah, that's it for all the Metalfoes Fusion monsters. Onto the... I guess we'll skip to the Metalfoes Link monster here. Heavy Metalfoes Amalgam. This one doesn't come up too much. Honestly, this could probably be cut from the extra deck. But if it's sent from monster to graveyard by a card effect, you can equip it to a monster, a Metalfoes monster, to make it gain 1,000, or you can pop a Metalfoes card you control to summon it back. This does let you pendulum summon from the extra deck for 3, because the arrows do point left and right. But I generally don't make this too much. You could probably cut it, but it's nice to have. And then for the rest of the stuff in the deck, we're playing Odd Eyes Absolute, because you can make it with the Volflame and the Melcaster, and then if you pop it with a scale, you get to go into the Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, which then ends up being an Omni Negate, and you get whatever card you set from your scale effects, which is nice. We are running Nova and Infinity. You can make these with your Cleaforts. That's the only way you can make them, but you do have 4 cards that are getting you this package, basically, so super nice to run. I am running Baguska in this deck. This could be any rank 4 that you want. I feel like I mentioned this in every video, but I really like running Dugaris as well. But Baguska is just a nice way to sit. If you really feel like you have nothing else you can do, that you can just sit on Baguska and hope to survive a turn. And then the last cards here are IP Masquerena, Nightmare Unicorn, and Borrelsword Dragon. If you have Vanisher in hand, and you're able to make IP Masquerena with the Mithrilium, you can use the 2 of them to make the Unicorn. And if you Chain Link 1 the Mithrilium, Chain Link 2 the Unicorn, you can pitch the Vanisher to summon to bounce a card, and then use Mithrilium effect to summon the Vanisher, and then get another banish off it. It's very effective combo, but I choose to do the Alcahest combo instead. That's just me. But yeah, so the side deck cards are just the cards that I had mentioned previously, cards that you can substitute out for or add in if you want to. Obviously, if you're doing a real side deck, you know, probably like Triple Ash, Triple Veiler, some Spell and Trap Destruction, maybe Lancia or Bell, depending on the meta that you're playing in at your locals or with friends or what have you. And yeah, that's this deck profile. We'll hop in to a combo or a test hand real quick, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, so we're back. This is our test hand right here. This is an absolutely outstanding test hand. You really can't ask for better. Summoner's Art is going to give us access to the Cyber Dragon Infinity. E-Telly's E-Telly. It's a great way to bait out Ash and whatnot. We have a full scales. And with the Vanisher, we're actually able to end on the Mithrilium and IP Masquerena, hopefully, as long as everything goes well. But if we are making the Infinity, it might not work out that way. But it's up to you, whatever you end on. So let's just play this out. I'm going to start with the E-Telly here. If we get ashed, we get ashed here, and I would rather lose the E-Telly than the Summoner's Art. So let's activate our Summoner's Art here. We're going to search out our Cleafort Scout. We are going to activate Cleafort Scout. We're going to pay the 800, search the Monolith. Classic combo here. It's 2013 all over again. We will activate our Silvered. Let's activate our Silvered effect to pop that, and then we can set anything. I am going to choose to set the Metalfoes counter here. Now we can activate our Bismugear. Let's do a Pendulum Summon here, where you're going to use this and this to make these. We can either make the IP Masquerena or we can make the Infinity here. Trying to decide which one I really prefer. I think I would prefer doing the IP Masquerena here. So I am going to summon our IP Masquerena using these two. Then I'm going to activate our Bismugear effect, popping our Silvered. If you did chain these better, you could get a search off the Bismugear. I did make that mistake, but just keep that in mind. Let's set the Metalfoes Fusion. Let's now activate Metalfoes Fusion to summon our Mithrilium using our Steelin, and then we will use our Silvered here, making the Mithrilium. Now, we do have 2 Metalfoes cards engraved, so we are immediately able to recycle if we want to, using the Mithrilium effect. There's no real reason to, but it would be nice just to get these out of grave for next turn. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We'll just shuffle these back in. These are soft ones per turns, all the Metalfoes. So we can just return that to hand and then activate it again. Our resources are recycled. You could also choose to keep them engraved for your next turn, so that your Mithrilium effect is live next turn. But chances are this is going to be engraved and the counter is going to be engraved. So you're probably all right. You probably don't have anything to worry about. So this is your turn 1 board here. On your opponent's turn, you're able to make the Nightmare Unicorn. You'll have a quick effect bounce, and then a quick effect banish. And then if your Unicorn is destroyed by Battle Card effect, you get to summon a Metalfoes from deck, so you have an extender as well. Super nice hand here. We will do one more real quick just to look at what we get. Hopefully we don't get anything atrocious here. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting hand. We have both a Cleafort Monolith and a Scout. So the Scout is both of these are pretty much dead cards. We're playing with 3 cards in hand right now. But this isn't totally useless, I would say. Let's see what we can do here. I think I'm going to start off by activating our Monolith and then activating our Steelin, and we will activate our Steelin effect to pop our Monolith. And let's go ahead and set... We can probably set... Let's do like a Metalfoes fusion here. Let's now activate our Summoner's Art to search our Metalfoes Volflame. Let's go ahead and normal summon, and we will activate the effect of our Rescue Rabbit. Let's summon 2 gold drivers here. Note that these are level 4, so you immediately have the option to go into any rank 4 you want. We could do a Baguska here. I don't really want to just Baguska pass, so I'm probably not going to do that right now. But let's go ahead and we'll pair a Metalfoes fusion here. We can make an Alcahest by using this and the Monolith. So we have that on board. We can activate our Volflame. You don't really want the 2 scale 8s, so that does suck. But I really don't want to lose this gold driver because of the rabbit effect, so we're just going to pop it, get a counter on field. And this is a pretty standard board here. It was a little unorthodox to get there, but unfortunately your scales aren't really complete. But during your next turn, you just pop the other one. You get to set a card. You do get a quick effect Suck, and then you do get a quick effect Banish. So overall, a pretty alright hand there. But yeah, that's how the deck performs. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. I definitely suggest that you check it out. It is a endlessly fun deck. And yeah. See ya.